The first budget we will be preparing is the sales budget. This is where we budget the amount of sales that we expect to have during the period. The sales budget is prepared after the sales forecast is done. Now, this text doesn't really talk that much about the sales forecast, but it's important to know that managers aren't just going to, pull the sales forecast, out of the air. They're going to have to look at a lot of the economic conditions that are in the economy to kind of figure out, what sales are expected to be. Like, is the economy going well? Is demand expected to be high? Are there competing products that are coming to market? Things like that. So they'll forecast sales kind of from a kind of esoteric perspective. Then they'll come up with a numbers budget for sales. And really, it's not that complicated a budget. In each quarter of a year, you would just put down the expected sales units you think you're going to achieve, and then what your sales price is per unit goes there, and then you just multiply it out and add them all up. And that's your budgeted sales. The budgeted sales amount and budgeted sales units amount will help you then produce a production budget. How many things do you have to make in order to meet that sales budget? The production budget is based on a formula pretty much where you look at how much units you expect to sell, and then you add some desired level of ending inventory. You don't want to just make what you expect to sell. You want to have some extra in case you end up selling more than you thought. So you want to make what you're expecting to sell plus some extra, and then you subtract what you've already got in inventory from the beginning of the period. All right, you don't need to make extra if you've already got some, and that will give you your required production units. So, in looking at this Excel sheet right here, expected unit sales, that came from the sales budget. Then you add this desired level of inventory, and that gets you a total number of required units. Subtract what you have from a previous period, and that gets you the amount you have to produce this period. Okay, now the only confusing thing about this really is that in this example up here somewhere it says the company wants to maintain ending inventory equal to 20% of the next quarter's budgeted sales volume. So that's how you figure out your ending inventory amount, 20% of the next quarter. So you look at the next quarter sales, expected sales of 3,500, 20% of that is 700. So that's how you figure out how much extra inventory you want. Okay, and then for this amount right here, this 600, how much inventory do you expect to come into this quarter with? And this amount, remember, they would have been building an expected ending inventory in like the quarter before this. And in the quarter before this, they would have looked at 20% of the next quarter's sales to be a desired ending inventory. So to figure out this number in the prior quarter, it would have been 20% of the next quarter's sales. So 20% of that is 600. So that's the amount they would have been building toward at the end of quarter 4 from the year before. So that would be the amount they'd be coming forward to the beginning of quarter 1 with. Now remember, this is just budgeting, so it's all round numbers. So then once you got that, then you can move forward from quarter to quarter. 20% of the next quarter sales is 800. That's how much inventory you're wanting to have in ending inventory this quarter. 700 would be the expected ending inventory from the quarter before it. It's the same as the ending inventory from the quarter before. You can see the correlation. Next quarter, 20% of 4,500 is 900, and then 800 is what you'd expect to have at the beginning of this quarter because that's what you expected to have at the end of the quarter before it.